Hello everyone, my name is Lina and today I'm going to interview a Chilean horse show jumper who represents our country all over the world. Welcome home, Gabriela Reutter. Gabriela just finished her season competing in Wellington, Florida at the Winter Equestrian Festival, where she got impressive results. We will talk about that and much more. Gabby and her horses have a week off and then resume training for the next competitions in Kentucky and then Canada starting at the beginning of May. Gabby, at 22 years old, is still competing as an amateur, but she knows she's slowly transitioning to becoming a professional. Nevertheless, she competes in the FEI Grand Prix against professionals. So, Gabriela, when did this story begin?
I started riding when I was 4 years old. My mom took me, we had a beach house in Cachagua, and I would always go and look at the horses and this and that. And then one day my mom was like, okay, she's old enough, she can go and get on a horse. And then I started classes, and then eventually I liked it more and more, and I would go every summer, and it just progressed.
Which clubs, who were your coaches, and what did you learn from each of them?
The first club was the polo club in Cachagua, and then I trained with Chicoca, her real name was Isabel. That's where I started. I learned all the basics, how to trot, how to gallop. We did a little bit of jumping, but not very much. And then afterwards, I started here in Santiago, and I wanted to get more experience and not just do it when we were at the beach. And then I did a little bit at the Pepper Chase Club, and then I went to Universidad Católica, and that's when I really started to jump, to compete, and everything like that.
When did you decide this was going to be your path?
I used to do a lot of sports, and for some time when I was 8, I did modern dance, and I rode horses. And it came to a point where I was doing both things, and it was okay, you have to decide, what do you want to do? And then I decided to ride, and that's when I left everything and just rode.
I'm glad you did it. And when did you decide to move to the United States, to study there, to move your whole life to another country?
Well, I always wanted to study in the United States. I never wanted to study here. I thought it was more opportunities and everything like that. But the first time that I went and I competed internationally in other countries, I realized that the level over there was much higher than here. And the first time I went to Wellington was in 2013. And that's when I decided I need to be here to improve, because my level does not compare to the level over there. And if I want to get anywhere, I need to leave.
So it was an easy decision to make?
Yeah, it was an easy decision because I knew I had nothing else to learn here. And if I wanted to get better and if I wanted to fulfill my goals, to go to the Pan Americans, to go to the Olympics, I knew I needed a coach over there, a program, and to improve.
Yeah, it's different. It's another level.
It's very different. The first time I went, it was a shock because the times, everything was much faster, everyone was much faster, everyone was much better. The amount of people that compete there are so much more. Here at max you get 20, 30 in the bigger classes, and there it was 100, and in one city, so it was an eye-opening.
I know you're also studying business and economics in the United States. How do you combine both worlds, and why you didn't play all your cards in one?
Well, I am studying in New York University, and for me, the first year I tried to combine both things, but because I was studying in New York, it was really hard for me because I had to take a flight to go to Wellington, compete, and come back. And I am a perfectionist, and I wanted to do both things perfect, and I couldn't. It was there. I had to focus on one thing. So what I do now is I study one semester a year, which is the exact time when my horses are resting to gear up again for the next competition. And that has really worked out for me because I have improved, and at the same time I have some time to focus on my studying because I do want to have a career, I do want to have a major apart from the horses.
Okay, when are you going to finish your career? Your studying career?
I have 3 semesters left, and because I do one semester a year, so 3 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you have some time, but you are very young.
Yes.
So Being so young and competing at this level, do you have to make some sacrifices? Do you see it like that, or you see it like an opportunity what you're doing?
I do have to make some sacrifices because I need to be 100% focused. So I don't have that much time to go out with my friends or even spend time with my family. So I do make sacrifices in that sense. But at the same time, my friends and my family realize that my passion is show jumping and that's what I want to do. And so they all support me, and I maintain my friendships because they know that if I'm not there, if I miss a birthday, if I can't spend that much time with my family, they know that it's because I have this thing behind me that I am passionate about, and that is my goal.
It's very important that they understand and they support all of this. Gabi, how do you feel of everything you have accomplished until now? It's so much.
I'm very happy. I have to say that I've put, especially this past year, I have put a lot of work into getting my goals and to being able to achieve what I put out. Because every year before the start of the season, I sit down with my coach and we go and we say, okay, this is what we want to do, this is what we want to accomplish. Yes, sometimes stuff happens and you can't, but I have to say that I have accomplished everything that I have put into, and I'm in the path of accomplishing the rest of that I want to do. But this is a sport of patience, so sometimes you have to take it slower.
So let's talk in depth about show jumping. Here we have Gabriela. So how do you explain the game?
So basically there's a course and you have to complete the course in the time allowed that you have, and you have to be able to do it without knocking any fences down. Every fence that you have down is 4 faults. So the best is to have 0 faults in the time allowed that they give you to do.
So many rules, but we can learn them. And how do you practice? How is your exercise? Do you combine it with gym?
Yeah, so I train 6 days a week. Mondays the horses have off, so they rest. And when we train, we do a lot of flat work, a lot of making sure that the horses are responsive to the aids, to the hands, to the legs. The more responsive, the better and easier it is when you are in the course, so we simulate that. And also we do a little jumping, but we never jump as big as we jump in the competition. It's always as small as possible to be able to train a little bit, and it's mostly because the horses know what they're doing, so it's mostly for the rider to be able to keep your eye working and keep practicing the distances and everything. And as well, I do gym. I go to the gym every day. I do Pilates, I do, it's like a lot of cardio with some weights. It's called Orange Theory. And then I also have a personal trainer. And I work out every day, at least 1 or 2 of those things every day, to maintain my strength, my balance, and to work on that as well. Things that you can't practice riding, but that make you better when you're riding.
That's very important. And does the horse anytime trains by themselves, or you train by yourself only?
No, it's either with the horse or me by myself, normally, yeah.
And what's the relationship with your horses? Do you have 1 horse, 2 horses? How many? And how is it if they have an injury or something?
I have 3 horses right now. Okay. One of the horses is my own, and then 2 are from Carlos Morstad from Aras Miraflores in the south. He sent me over 2 of his really good horses so that I can compete. That's really important. And but my relationship with them is very important as well with the horses, because the stronger the bond, the better it is. Like, I spend a lot of time with them, not riding, like just hanging out with them, taking them out for grass, and they know who I am. And that I think is very important, to have that relationship with your horse, because it's a partnership.
You're always talking with them? Do you feel that they understand you every time when you get in the room? They know that it's you?
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, my horses, they nigger, they say hi to me in their own ways, and they know exactly they're smarter than we think.
How much time does it take to be like that close to a horse?
I think it depends on the horse, because some horses just take more time, and it depends on how much you want to put into it. Like, if you put your whole heart into it and you spend a lot of time with them, you treat them well, they respond.
Gabi, how important is the horse in this sport?
Because it is a partnership, it's not like a tennis racket that you can just change and it's the exact same. The horse is very important. And the horse not only has to, like what I look for in a horse is good character, that the horse is competitive, that the horse has a good head, a good brain. And it's very important because someone can ride very, very well, but if the horse doesn't accompany you in that, you're not gonna get anywhere, which is why sponsors and people to get you horses are very important. Like right now, I'm very lucky that I have Aras Miraflores that sent me 2 horses. But honestly, the more, the better, because it's better for the training and because horses are a big part. Like I can't do this by my own.
Since this is an individual sport, how do you work your mind? Do you do something to concentrate?
The mind is, I would say, extremely important because I used to have a lot of problems with that and the aspect that I would get in and I'd be too nervous or too anxious and that would hurt my performance. It's very similar to golf, that you have to be very concentrated and focused and think about each jump and not think ahead and staying in the moment. So for me, when I prepare for this, I sleep well the night before, I think about it, I visualize a lot. I also do breathing exercises if I feel like I'm getting a little anxious or a little nervous. I do some mind work. I think that like my mind is a box and what do I want to put in this box and what do I take out? So first of all, I take out things that I'm thinking about that I shouldn't be thinking about, and then I put in what I should be thinking about, and it's certain specific points, and that really helps me.
How did you learn that technique? By yourself or with a coach?
Both. I went to a sports psychologist when I was here in Chile to overcome the initial aspects, but then I also think it's something that you have to work individually and you have to be able to say, okay, I need to work in this, and so I'm going to put time and effort into working in this. And that's when I started reading a lot of books. I read this book called, I can't remember the name, but it's about golfing. It's there's a saying like play great, do not play to play poorly by Bob Robtella. And yes, the book is about golfing, but I thought a lot about mimicking it to show jumping, and that has really helped me. And I've read other books as well, and I'm constantly looking for improvements, things that I can work on, because it's so important to be in this focus, because you're only there for a minute and a half at most. And so you need to be exactly where you need to be.
100% in that minute. Yeah. 100% concentrated. The mind is very important. And weakness and strength. In the time, what were your weakness and strength, and how have you worked them?
I would say my weakness used to be my mind, and I've gotten a lot better into being able to control it, to control my anxiety, to control nervousness. Now I can go in and I have no problem. I don't have like a block or anything like that. That used to be one of my weaknesses that I have worked really hard to make it my strength. Because top riders have that. That's their strength, to be able to stay in the moment, to know what they're doing, know that you have prepared everything, and that minute is your minute. Also, one of my weaknesses before was the basics. I've said this before, but here in Chile they don't practice basics enough. They don't have the patience to work until you have everything settled before jumping higher. So I think that is very important, to work on the basics, to work on the seat, to work on the legs, to do no stirrups and to do 2 points and all of that. I think is very important. But right now, obviously, I still have work to do. I still have to be able to stay more with my horse. I still have little things that the higher you jump, the more they matter.
How much do you jump?
Right now, I've been doing the 2-star, 3-star FEI show jumping Grand Prix, which is 1.50 m, 1.55 m at most in the jump off, and I'm working towards jumping 4 stars and 5 stars.
Tell me about your coach. What's his name and what are you working on with him?
His name is Chris Kapler. He's a double Olympic medalist in 2004 in Athens. He's my idol, honestly. Like, I love that he works as a team. So we have the team we have the vet, we have the chiropractor, we have the grooms who take care of the horses, and it's all about teamwork and everybody doing the best they can so that everything works out. and he also puts a lot of emphasis on detail, a lot of emphasis on our flat work, a lot of emphasis of like little things to get better. And he's taught me a lot also about the mind, about having patience, about how to transition into being a professional, what do you need to do, and all of that. And yeah, I'm very happy with him.
You are lucky to have your idol working with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And who else supports you other than your coach?
Well, as I said, I do have a team that supports me. Chris Kapler Inc. has a whole team that we all work for our goal. And I have my family that supports me, my friends. But to be honest, I do need more people to support the sport and support me as a rider to be able to get to where I want to get, and to be able to say with pride that I am representing my country with the support needed, because it is an expensive sport. It is a sport that you have to have sponsors, you have to have people that help you get the horses that you need to be able to be on that level. There is so much I can do.
How do you feel, or how do you see the equestrian level in Chile?
I think we are very behind, honestly. I think there's a lot to look at in other countries, in Europe and in the States, and I think we should mimic it. There's also a lack of international competitions, FEI competitions here. Yes, we have been improving. I'm not here, but I've heard that they've done a lot of improvements to the quality of the arena, the quality of the horse shows, but I think that we still need a lot more. And I think we should be able to mimic the programs and what they use in the States and in Europe. That's why it's so important for me, and it was so important for me to get out of Chile, because I felt that I couldn't learn anything more here. So I think the level is, it's solid, but I would say that there's a lot of room for improvement.
So Gabi, how does it feel to represent your country?
Well, representing my country I think is one of my favorite things, because once I put on the red jacket, it just has like a whole different meaning. Every time I go, like, it's always like Gabriela Reutter from Chile.
Do you feel supported by Chile?
In Chile, the federation doesn't support me. I have to send in my results. They're not constantly asking how I am doing. Also, I have to buy my own clothes, my own jacket. So no, I don't feel the support that I think is important for this sport, and any sport really.
Which is your main goal? Where do you want to get in your horse jumping career?
Well, I definitely want to go to the Olympics. I definitely want to do my best and be able to hopefully get a medal. The good thing of the sport is that you can do it for a long time.